In the 22nd century, humans have terraformed Mars and created farms run by robots. But now, corporations want the farmers to leave so they can mine the precious Martian minerals. The year is 2085, and human technology has advanced significantly. There are now flying cars everywhere, and humans have become an interplanetary species. Two young men in Russia named Konstantin and Kolya are working on starting their own company called Izhevsk Dynamics. Konstantin is shooting a demonstration video for their product called the Consciousness Resettler, which supposedly will allow people to transfer their consciousness from one body to another. Konstantin highlights its potential uses, saying this will allow people to transfer themselves to younger bodies and possibly live forever. While shooting the video, Konstantin calls Kolya out for not having the spirit of a salesman. He tells Kolya to be more flamboyant in his presentation. Kolya says that today they are going to test the machine by transferring a dog's consciousness to a rat, but Konstantin says that he has convinced an old man to sign up for the test instead. Kolya says that they are nowhere near ready for human testing yet, but Konstantin says that if they are going to be successful, they need to take some risks. Kolya doesn't agree with this, but when he leaves, Konstantin runs the test with the old man and the dog. Kolya returns and is horrified to see the process underway. He rushes to stop it, but Konstantin holds him back. The process completes, and they check the dog to see if the old man's consciousness is inside it. However, just then, the old man wakes up in the chair, still very much in his own body, and they realize that their machine doesn't work. The two friends sit on the roof of the house and contemplate what they are going to do now. Kolya says that they should get into the business of making robots. Konstantin argues that almost everyone makes robots now, but Kolya says that they will make them cheap and affordable. He shows Konstantin some designs he's been working on. He even comes up with a tagline for their company that says, "A robot in every house." Konstantin asks what will they do if this doesn't work either, and Kolya says that they will just buy some land on Mars and run their own farm. They laugh about it. Many years later, a much older Kolya is working on his farm and shooting a video inviting people to come to work for him. He shows that his farm is technologically advanced, as most of the work is done by robots, and most of the machines are sentient. His family makes appearances in the video as well. His wife scolds him for spending too much time with his robots, while his oldest daughter asks if she has to lie to the camera that they have a great time at the farm. Next, Kolya and his youngest daughter demonstrate how several high-tech trees power the entire farm and even control the weather. A zoomed-out shot reveals that Kolya's farm is actually on Mars, and he is inviting people from Earth to come to work with him. Kolya goes to a Martian junkyard where he finds an old, discarded robot, and he decides to bring it home and make it brand new again. His wife is mad that he keeps bringing these things home. Still, she participates in picking a name for the robot and names it Vanya. Next, Kolya and his wife watch the sunset, and she tells him that no one is going to come here to work with them. Kolya doesn't care. He's happy with what he has. Meanwhile, on Earth, Konstantin has managed to become an outrageously successful businessman by getting the robot company he and Kolya came up with off the ground. He is so wealthy and powerful that he's had his face carved into the moon. Konstantin is now an arrogant and self-important man who does things like scraping robots that can't close his jacket buttons because he is too fat for it. Konstantin's assistant, Zamestitel, arrives and tells him that his shareholders are coming to see him. Konstantin panics because he has been avoiding the shareholders for months. The shareholders tell Konstantin that the image of the company has been tarnished as of late due to Konstantin's reckless and arrogant behavior, and if this continues, they will have no choice but to replace him. Konstantin is outraged, and he angrily says that this company is his creation. He adds that "a robot in every house" was his tagline, even though this is a lie. Then he calms down and tells the shareholders that he has a plan to make the company popular again. He says that he has discovered a deposit of a very special mineral on Mars, which will help them reduce the production cost of their robots, allowing them to sell the robots for an even cheaper price. After the shareholders leave, Konstantin tells Zamestitel to begin the Mars mining process immediately, but Zamestitel informs him that there is one farmer on Mars who refuses to leave, even though they have paid off all his neighboring farmers. Konstantin is shocked to see that that farmer is his old friend Kolya. Next, Kolya's daughter stumbles upon his old consciousness resettler, and he warns her to keep away from it. Konstantin arrives at Mars with his board of directors and pretends to cheerfully catch up with Kolya, but Kolya tells him to cut to the chase. Konstantin says that they need to let old grievances go, but this enrages Kolya. He says that Konstantin stole his inventions and kicked him out of the company that the two of them started together. Konstantin says that his company needs to begin mining on this land, and if Kolya agrees to leave, he will get Kolya an apartment on Europa to live out his old age comfortably. Kolya is appalled at the fact that not only is Konstantin asking him to leave his home, but his offer is disrespectfully small. He punches Konstantin in the face. Konstantin says he tried to do this nicely, but Kolya has left him no choice. He reveals that Mars is actually under the management of his company, and then orders his men to start demolishing the farm. Kolya and his family are captured while their farm is demolished. Kolya notices that Vanya is still outside and rushes to rescue him. Meanwhile, Zamestitel tries to argue with Konstantin that it's not right to kick people out of their home, and Konstantin fires him. Vanya steals Konstantin's coat thinking it's a rag for cleaning, and when Konstantin tries to take it back, things get violent, and Kolya arrives. He pushes Konstantin, who lands in the chair of the consciousness resettler. Just then, one of the high-tech trees falls, triggering a storm, the lightning from which hits the consciousness resettler. The machine is powered up, and Konstantin's consciousness is transferred to Vanya, who is connected to him via the coat. Konstantin wakes up in the robot's body and panics, while Kolya is delighted that his machine works. The actual Konstantin's consciousness is reduced to that of a newborn baby, as there was no consciousness in Vanya to transfer to his body. Konstantin demands that Kolya put him back in his body, and Kolya rushes to the tree to create the storm again, since the machine clearly needs that level of power. However, from behind, Zamestitel and the workers arrive, and take Konstantin's body away, thinking he's just in a state of shock after the lightning strike. Kolya sees his family being taken away, and Konstantin sees his body leaving, and both decide to go to Earth after them. At night, as Kolya fixes his van, Konstantin mocks him for taking so long, and the two get into a fight. Konstantin says he'll just get home himself and leaves. Next, Kolya drives by Konstantin, who is stuck because his body is full of rust. Konstantin begs Kolya to help and apologizes for his behavior earlier. He asks for Kolya's help in getting back into his body, and in return, he promises to leave Kolya and his farm alone. Finally, on the same team, the two drive toward the train station to go to Earth, but run into a violent sandstorm on the way. Meanwhile, Zamestitel arrives home and tells his wife that he got fired, and she tells him to go and beg for his job back, because otherwise they won't be able to afford anything. Kolya comes out of the storm to find his van stuck in the sand. Konstantin is in a similar state, except his head is in one place, and his body is in another. Kolya puts him back together, and the two work on getting the van out. Meanwhile, Zamestitel arrives at Konstantin's house and finds him behaving like a baby and wrecking his robots. He calls a doctor, and the doctor reveals that Konstantin now has the brain of a 1-year-old baby. Zamestitel is bewildered. Back on Mars, the duo is heading toward the train station when they find an old woman also heading there and decide to give her a lift. To get to the station, they get in an elevator that takes them out of the planet's atmosphere to a height where the interplanetary train arrives. They try to purchase tickets for the train, but it is completely booked. Kolya goes to negotiate with the conductor, but Konstantin gets another idea. He sees a ticket on the old woman's bag and steals it. Meanwhile, on Earth, Zamestitel says that he will report Konstantin's condition to the company, but his wife convinces him that they can manipulate this situation to make Zamestitel the head of the company. Nobody else knows about this, but them. Zamestitel is not comfortable with this plan, but his wife reminds him that Konstantin always treated him terribly, and he deserves this. He pauses his wife and walks away, and it's revealed that his wife and kids are actually AI holographic services that he has subscribed to. He unpauses her, and she convinces him by saying that she is only suggesting this plan for his sake because she loves him. Kolya and Konstantin get on the train, but when Kolya discovers that Konstantin stole the ticket from the old woman, he gets enraged. He tells Konstantin that this is not how he does things. He does not rob old people. He makes Konstantin get off and help the old woman onto the train. The train departs, leaving the duo stranded. Konstantin angrily yells at Kolya that he is weak, and this is why he'd never be able to build a business. It's why Konstantin got rid of him all those years ago. Incredibly angry at this comment, Kolya sets Konstantin to vacuum cleaner mode and makes him clean the whole platform. Then, he gets an idea. The two wrap themselves inside a package being sent to Earth, but unbeknownst to them, the package is actually going to Pluto. Kolya and Konstantin arrive on Pluto, where the local people hate both robots and Konstantin because his cheap robots are taking over all the jobs, leaving the people unemployed. Konstantin says they need to find a phone so he can call his assistant and have him send a shuttle for them. Back on Earth, Zamestitel and his wife are looking after Konstantin like a baby when they learn that he is supposed to be making a very important presentation today. The wife suggests that she buy Konstantin's likeness off of the black market and make the presentation, but that plan fails as Konstantin has kept his likeness protected. She then suggests that Zamestitel make the presentation and establish himself as the new face of the company. He says that in order to do that, they need a written order with Konstantin's stamp on it, and his stamp is in his office, which opens through his eye recognition. Zamestitel takes Konstantin to his office, where he attracts a lot of attention, but they eventually manage to find the stamp and send out the order. Zamestitel tells his wife to look after Konstantin while he goes to make the presentation, but she says that she wants to be there for his moment of triumph, and leaves Konstantin to watch cartoons. Meanwhile, on Pluto, Kolya and Konstantin arrive at an establishment where the workers get angry upon seeing a robot, but an older man, who recognizes Kolya from his younger inventor days, saves the duo from the mob. The older man says that he's always respected Kolya because he is a true inventor, and he's always hated Konstantin. He says that if he ever found the smug businessman, he'd kill him. Back on Earth, the toddler Konstantin accidentally orders coffee from his deputy, and then he starts undressing. When the deputy arrives with the coffee, she screams at the sight of a completely naked Konstantin, who runs out of the room scared. On Pluto, the old man shows Kolya that he is also an inventor. He invented a shrink ray and shrunk many objects in his house, such as cars, chairs, and even an airplane. The objects are only shrunk for a specific period, though. Kolya is impressed. Meanwhile, Konstantin sees Zamestitel making the presentation on the news, and during the presentation, the toddler Konstantin walks on stage completely naked. The robot Konstantin is horrified at this sight, while Kolya laughs. He cries that he is the head of a corporation, and the world is seeing his naked bottom. The old man hears this sentence and realizes who he is housing. He decides to tell all the workers, despite Kolya's protests. But before he can go out, Konstantin shrinks him. Kolya is horrified at Konstantin's actions once more, and he frantically looks for the old man. He finds the old man, but just then, his wife walks in. She warns the workers, and they come for the duo. Seeing no way out of this situation, the two shrink themselves and get into the shrunken airplane to escape the house, barely making it past all the workers attacking them. Back on Earth, Zamestitel tells the shareholders about Konstantin's condition, and they tell him that right now their only concern is beginning mining on Mars. They tell him to control his boss and see the mining project through. On Pluto, Kolya and Konstantin return to normal size, and Kolya appears upset. Konstantin inquires about it, and Kolya confesses that when he first thought of the robot business idea, he wanted to make people happy, but right now, everyone seems to hate it. Finally, Konstantin finds a phone and contacts his deputy at the office. He proves to her that he really is Konstantin by telling her all the ways that he normally makes her life miserable at work. Once she knows it's him for sure, he tells her to listen closely to the plan he is going to lay down. The Cyber Farm is a Russian TV series that was released in 2023. The series spawned from a couple of low-budget YouTube videos, which received overwhelmingly positive reviews, and it has had a similar reception as well. The satirical comedy series has been widely appreciated by viewers from all over the world. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.